va. All right. Well, bonjour, français 1. Ah, deux. Oh là là. See, it's already happening. I'm starting to forget where I am. Français 2. Et voilà. Sixième période. Sixth period. It's been a long week of Zooming. I know you all are tired too, but we're going to kind of wrap up our Friday here, hopefully on a positive note. Nonetheless, merci beaucoup pour votre attention, votre patience aussi, your patience, as we troubleshoot through a lot of these different issues. First and foremost, I've noticed a lot of you guys are turning in your work, so fantastic. Quick reminder, everything needs to be turned in through Canvas as much as possible. Okay, if you can't figure out how to do that, today is that day. We are going to go into what's called breakout rooms, where I kind of would put you in pair groups, and you will work with a partner or two or three and kind of troubleshoot together. How do you do this work? Like, how do you turn in the Google assignment, the Google Doc on auto portrait, where you had to type right on it? How do you turn in the bonne manière if you want to write on it on a PDF or take a picture of it? So those are some things we're going to troubleshoot today. Next week, please remember, keep in mind, next week, excuse me, on Monday, I'm going to push out a little video of myself. You've seen a couple already if you've taken the time to watch them. On Mondays by 3, a video will come out that'll overview what's coming up for the week. There'll be an announcement that'll come out with the enquête that'll go into your email to kind of remind you, oh, there's the enquête, and oh, it says number 1, watch the video on Monday, just to kind of remind you what to do. And we're going to start right off the bat with 2 grades next week, all right? We're going to pronounce the promesse, for those of you all that know what that is, or memorize, hopefully, as well as a dictée. We're going to write it out. So you have to learn how to spell the words. I will dictate it to you, all right? It's a dictation, but you will write it out in French. It'll be a classic spelling test, okay? So we're going to get started right away next week on those things. So look out for that in your inbox and on Gmail, as well as in Canvas. I also appreciate those that have been trying to email me through Canvas. That works very well. If you have problems, please let me know, because I'm trying to work things out on my end as well, okay? All right, anybody have any questions to begin for the group? Question, problème? All right, well, I'm gonna now just go alphabetically down my list each time and assign somebody to be in charge of the chat. So that way, as we go through, if there's any questions, like Thomas put in there, he's playing nutty tiles, that's great. This person, in this case, it's going to be Ryder, numéro 1, you're going to be my chat master. So if you'll just watch the chat for me, even you can put things in chat and let me know if there's something I need to address, because I have a hard time, a lot of us teachers with big classes, reading chats, watching you, teaching, sharing screens. It's multitasking at its best, that's for sure. Okay, does that work, Ryder? Are you good with that? Oui? All right, fantastic. Next thing, I know some of you guys are blended, meaning you're here at the school and taking classes and joining us on these Zooms, which means when the bell rings, you need to leave, you leave. If I spill over into this little extra time in the virtual world, then you guys are virtual, stay with me, and we'll wrap up together. When we're doing orals next week, where we're pronouncing things and I'm bringing you out of breakout rooms to be with me, or I join your group, it might take a while. We're going to have to find that out. So it might last a little extra. So bear with me. I try not to go over too much. All right. Okay. So if you guys would turn your cameras on for me, if possible, I really would like to see you. And I know it's a little challenging with the mute on to begin, but we're going to try it. So if everybody would unmute for a moment, within reason, unless there's barking dogs and things in the back. All right. This is being recorded, so I like folks that miss our class to be able to see live as best I can what you're doing. And I'm going to show you where you can find that. Okay, so on y va. This is what we're going to do. So derrière moi, behind me, as I showed you last class, oops, excuse me, on y va. So on Monday, I'll say the promesse with you, all right? And you'll get to learn that and say that and practice that again and hopefully kick off with some good grades. Zoom class numéro 1 was the chanson, the song, tête, épaule, genou, pied. And now we're at Zoom class numéro 2, and that will be stretching. And for those of y'all that know what that is, bravo, on y va. Les autres personnes, everybody else, levez-vous, vous êtes, stand up where you are. Excusez-moi, je vais me déplacer un petit peu. Move out of the way for just a minute. Bravo. Déplacez-vous. I'm going to go back. Ça va? Tu peux m'écouter? Everybody can still hear me? Can you listen to me?
Yeah,
Is it too far away? All right, bravo, thank you. All right, so we're going to do a little stretching, okay? So it's Friday, the end of the week of our first week of school. So we're going to take off some stress, enlever le stress. Et alors, aspirer, répétez. Aspirer.
Aspirer.
Répétez, expirer.
Expirer.
Encore, répétez, aspirer.
Aspirer.
Excellent. Et répétez, expirer.
Expirer.
Bravo. Another way, autre façon, another way to say that. Répétez, inhaler.
Inhaler.
Excellent. Répétez, exhaler.
Exhaler.
Encore, répétez, inhaler. Exhaler. Bravo. Très bien, très bien. Maintenant, répétez, tenez.
Tenez.
Tenez. O.
Oh.
Tenez O. That means hold high. It's almost like you're making an O with your hand. O actually means high, like up. So tenez O. So stretch, hold high. Tenez O, 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 like you're stretching all the stress out of you. Now we're going to tenez à droite. Quelle direction est droite? You may remember which direction is droite? To the right. Good. Now I'm going to turn around, and I should be going right on my screen, if you can see me. So répétez, tenez à droite. Fantastique. Maintenant, tenez haut. Et répétez, tenez à gauche. Tenez à gauche. Quelle direction est gauche? Which direction is gauche? Left. Excellent. OK, encore une fois. Répétez, tenez à droite.
Droite.
Excellent. Continuez, tenez à gauche. Bravo. Très bien. Excellent. Tenez haut. Voilà. Maintenant, je vais me retourner et voilà. Maintenant, essayez de toucher les pieds. Toucher les pieds, excusez-moi. Toucher les pieds, ça veut dire touch your toes. Exactement, toucher les pieds. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to count. On y va compter la date. We're going to count the date. So, quelle est la date aujourd'hui? What's today's date, everybody? C'est le
11th.
C'est le 11. C'est le 11. Bravo, le 11 septembre. Maintenant, essayez de toucher les pieds et comptez avec moi. And count with me. See if you can hear me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Bravo. Encore. Let's try it again. Aspirez. Expirez. Et maintenant, touchez les pieds et continuez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Bravo. If I mess that up, I apologize. I'm hearing echoes and I know that would happen. Bravo. Debout. Excellent. Maintenant, continuez avec dernière partie. Prenez les bras comme ça. Mettez ensemble. Croisez-les. Serrez-les. Roulez-les. Vite, roulez-les. Fermez les yeux. Close your eyes. Aspirez. Expirez. Ouvrez les yeux. Open your eyes. And let's try that again together, okay? So with all the mute off, so I can hear everybody, let's try it. You ready? So, répétez. Mettez les bras comme ça. Répétez. Mettez les bras comme ça. Mettez ensemble.
Mettez ensemble.
Croisez-les.
Croisez-les.
Serrez-les.
Serrez-les.
Roulez-les.
Roulez-les.
Fermez les yeux.
Fermez les yeux.
Aspirez.
Aspirez.
Expirez.
Expirez.
Bravo. Ouvrez les yeux. Open your eyes. Bravo. Fini avec ça. Restez stay where you are with your hands crossed. Et voilà. And now, while you're nice and calm, hopefully a little stress taken away, you're kind of in a position of a little quiet. If you like, you can take a quick moment. If you need to mute, go ahead, you may, and then return to this position. I just want to take a moment just to address and speak a little bit to what today is. So if it's loud in the background and you find it's loud, that's fine to mute. But you guys mentioned la date aujourd'hui, today's date. Yeah, only September. For those who are off mute, does anybody know what the significance of today is or what it brings? What happened today? Does anybody know in our country and years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It was
Go ahead and speak out. Anybody know?
It was 9/11.
Yeah.
It was 9/11, yeah? And we had an attack on our country, right? Does anybody know what happened on this day specifically?
A plane crashed into the Twin Towers.
Yes, one plane crashed in the Twin Towers. There were two other planes that crashed that day. Does anybody know where they were?
One was in a field, and I think one was the
Pentagon?
pentagram.
Pentagon, right. The field was in Pennsylvania, and the other plane crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. So this day is a very tricky day for a lot of folks in our country. It's a very somber day. Even though it's beautiful outside, it's a very hard day for a lot of folks. And I feel that I need to honor that moment and make sure that we all don't forget that moment. And I'd like to just share something with you all while we're all here having a moment. Your hands crossed, which is really good for your body to relax and kind of unwind a little bit. So that day was my first year ever teaching here at William Monroe High School. And I remember like it was yesterday because I was in the middle of teaching French 2, believe it or not. And that's when that first plane hit the Twin Towers. My family's from right outside of Washington, D.C., and my dad is a retired Marine colonel, and he was supposed to be at the Pentagon that day. And for whatever reason, he did not go to the Pentagon. He was called into his civilian job. He worked at the U.S. Geological Survey as a civil engineer in Reston, Virginia, and he went there that day instead. But I didn't know that living down here in Charlottesville and working here at William Monroe. So I was a nervous wreck and called my mom, and that's how I found out that he was okay, but what was going on in the world. That same day, a year before what we know as 9/11, a very dear friend of mine who was a Marine fighter pilot out of Top Gun in California was dogfighting. They were practicing fighting for war if we ever had one at that time. This was in year 2000, and his plane crashed and he died. And that was on September 11th, 2000. A year later is when we have what you guys know as the terror attack on our country. So this has been a very hard day for a lot of folks in our family and our friends. That same day, September 11th, my husband's uncle was walking into Tower 1 when the plane hit. And he knew something bad had happened and people were freaking out, and he had to take off running. And he walked all the way back to New Jersey because he couldn't get on a subway. There were no taxis. My best friend's uncle was in the tower when the plane hit, and he was killed. And closer to my heart is every time I look out at you guys being my high school kids, and I've been a high school teacher now for over 25 almost years. It's really crazy because I had a friend from high school. His name was Mark McGinley. And Mark McGinley got the superlative, that means he got the honor, if you will, in the yearbook for being the best dresser. He had the best clothes and the cutest shoes and just a real sharp, snazzy kind of dresser. Great kid. And he was working in one of the towers, and he was on the 91st floor. I graduated from high school in Northern Virginia in 1991, so it was a little ironic that he was on the 91st floor. When the planes hit, he was killed instantly. And when his family was going through his things in his bedroom, they found an engagement ring. He had a girlfriend in high school who was a field hockey player with me. She was one of my teammates, and he was going to propose to her. And that has stayed with us for years, all of us in high school. So as you look in your Zoom, because we're looking at each other on screens right now, but one day when we're all back together, you just never know where life will take you one day. And so I feel very passionate about sharing that with you guys because it's incredible how quickly life can change. And look at us now, we're in Zoom world. But I think it's also important to honor those that have passed and take a few minutes to remember, because a lot of things are impacting people differently nowadays. And this is still something in our past I think we should not forget, because it's been a really tough time for a lot of folks. So if you wouldn't mind, while your hands are crossed and you're calm, if you'll fermer les yeux, close your eyes, and just for 11 seconds in honor of September 11th, just close your eyes and just breathe. On y va. Merci. Okay. Thank you for your time. All right. On y va. Asseyez-vous. Have a seat for me and we'll get started. So thank you. So this is always a tricky day for all of us in schools and families and whatnot. So thank you for your moment of silence. I appreciate that. All right. So first and foremost, I just want to make sure most of you guys, and I appreciate the chat. I see everybody and what people have put in there, and it's very close to home. I can tell. So Grace, thank you for sharing. I want to make sure that you guys can also hear me. I hear I'm a little laggy in some areas. Are you guys okay? Everybody else? Puso, thumbs up for those that see me. Okay. All right. So no worries if you can't unmute or mute with the headphones and so on. It's totally fine. We'll do the best we can. And that's what today's about. We're going to try to troubleshoot and make sure everybody's on the right page and doing what they need to do. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And in the time we have, just kind of recap on a couple things. First and foremost, in a few moments, I'm going to put you all in breakout rooms. That means you're going to magically disappear. I know some of y'all already done this. Magically disappear, and you're going to be with a partner or partners. And while you're with that partner or partners, I want you to help each other for a few minutes. First, I want you to introduce yourself if you don't know each other. So we're going to do a quick review, révision of our basic introductions. So let's try that again. Répétez. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Je m'appelle.
Pen.
And then you put your name in. Bonjour, je m'appelle Madame Friedman. And then you would say to your partner in your Zoom breakout, et toi. Répétez, et toi.
Et toi.
Toi, and you. And your partner then would say, répétez, bonjour.
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 Je
Je m'appelle.
And then you put your name in. And then once you've met each other, we say this word. Comment dit-on? Nice to meet you.
Enchanté.
Enchanté. Exactement. Bravo. It's nice to hear the echo, even though I know it's a little crazy. So again, try it again. Enchanté.
Enchanté.
Enchanté. Fantastic. After that, try to pronounce the enquête for the week. You're not going to see these words when you're in your rooms, so just see if you can remember them. Again, our enquête is bienvenue à la rentrée. Répétez, bienvenue.
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue
À la rentrée.
à la rentrée.
Fantastic. So the first thing I want you to do is introduce yourself. Then what I would like you to do is in another tab, I'd like you to open up Canvas. So if you want to take a moment to open up Canvas in another tab, I've also found a lot of kids, a lot of students, a lot of teachers are using their phone to Zoom, and then they're using their laptops to have their Canvas open. So at this point, if you guys would like to all mute yourselves, I'm going to walk you through just a quick recap, and that way there won't be any echoes and so on and so forth. And Ryder, if there's anything in the chat that pops up, please let me know. I'm just going to share my screen and make sure everybody understands a couple things about the assignments. So in your Canvas world, and you come to French 2, you click on it. Just a quick recap for those that are joining us for the first time. Right here, this is our home page, and at the top will be recent announcements. The Zoom link is here with all the information. If you can't just click here on the navigation, or you don't find that you can click right down here where it says Zoom class Wednesday, Friday, and you click here. You can also go right up here, and the Zoom link, all the numbers and stuff are there. So if on your phone you have to click just join, everything you need is right there. You can go back to the slideshow and look at all my contact information. It's also down here, office hours, as well as how to email me. But also know that you're going to be emailing me as students in here, right over here where the inbox has the little number 1. Parents email me here, you guys email me here. Okay, that way I can keep the world separate a little bit. And then each week, at least for the first couple weeks, I'm going to put out devoir, homework, and the enquête, the investigation or word of the week. And this will go right into your email. So you'll see it like you used to from Google Classroom last year. And so when I click on that, I will have the enquête written here like I have. And your job will be to retype that in French and translate it into the video that I'm going to put out every Monday. So every Monday, you really need to check your email to see this announcement reminding you that you're going to have a French assignment as well as assignments coming out. You'll see the enquêtes, and I'll do a quick overview of what the homework and classwork is coming up. And number 1, Next week will be watch the On y va video. On y va is going to be, that video is going to be something that I'll set you in motion for the whole week. And then I'll just list the things we're going to cover next week. For instance, today, I'm going to tell you right now, next week, we're going to work on the promesse, if you remember what the promesse is. We're going to be pronouncing it for a grade, and you're going to be writing it out. It's a dictation, like a classic spelling test, like I said earlier. So those are the things I'll mention just briefly in the announcement. So on the home page, you'll see that right at the top. It'll say week 2, devoir enquête, and I'll have a new enquête. When you come down here to modules, that's where you'll see all of these things, and this is where you'll find all your information. The Bienvenue module, again, quick overview, has the slideshow again. If you need to go back and look at my office hours because you need to email me and I'm not responding, you'll know when I'm teaching and when I'm not. It has an On y va video example. This is what I'm going to be sending out, a little video of myself going over what's coming up and teaching you in the video how to pronounce things, how to maybe say things or translate things, or I'll go over things from this week, the week before. So that's important, why that's so important. The course orientation just kind of shows you how to understand my modules. And now this week, in particular today, this is where you're going to go for your homework to click on to learn how to access This is Language. That's an external, that's a new world out there. It's a whole web page, and this is your homework tonight. It's to go and set it up. So I've set up a video. You click down here. It's about 7 minutes long almost. You can fast forward it if you know what you're doing. It's still your school email, and it's still the same password I had last year. The task that's been set for you guys comes out today, and it's due next Friday by midnight. I always set them a week in advance. So once you set up your avatar, your little profile, and you're able to log in and it works, then go ahead and do the task and get ahead. This is the homework tonight, so I'm starting there. And so I wanted you just to see where you can watch the video. I'm going to keep the video, if I go back, housed right here in the welcome menu so that you know where to access it. And the reason I'm doing that is because when we come down here to week 1, and you come under Zoom class 2, that's what we're doing right now. And what you're going to see is homework and classwork due Friday at midnight, and it says 1.3. Remember, the 1 means right at the top, week 1, and the 3 means the third assignment. The first assignment was the auto portrait. The second assignment was the bonne manière. So you're going to go in and you're going to watch the video. Well, you got to go back to the Bienvenue module to watch the video. So I'm teaching you how to go through the modules. That's why I want you to go back out into the Bienvenue and watch the video and see if you can set up your avatar, your little picture. You can edit it and then start the task that's due next Friday. So keep that in mind as we go through. All right, so that brings me back to, after the Bienvenue module, here are the Zoom class recordings. So you guys that are missing class because you have other classes, this is where you go to look. You just click right here on the date. Zoom class 1 was from Wednesday, and there'll be a video that you can play right here and watch exactly what we're doing right now. If I go back, the next module that'll pop up is, I'm going to collapse it, sorry, it's a little jumpy, is resources. Resources I've enabled just today. Technology help. If you have problems with your technology, your laptops, your hotspot, click here. The school has put together a bunch of links to help you. Troubleshooting videos. If you don't understand how to use Cami, here's some troubleshooting videos. Pronunciation practice for next week. I'm going to keep it here once the assignment is passed so you can practice the promesse anytime you want. And that's where it'll be housed and kept, here in resources. And now we're here now in our first module this week. So once again, we didn't have school on Monday. Our Zoom class number 1, because my in-school kids, my actual kids that are in class, the blended kids, they're in class. You guys are Zooming. In-class kids don't Zoom. So if they ever have to watch all this, they know where to go to. If they miss class, they can come over here and they can Zoom with us if they have to, if that helps. That said, I want you to take a look down under devoir class, homework and classwork. These are the 2 things I set up last week. All right, so what we're going to do now is when you get into the auto portrait, you all that have figured it out and know what you're doing, and when you're in your groups, tell your partner that, okay? Because everybody, it might be doing a little different, and you're going to learn from each other. So those of you all that have already submitted and I've graded it, bravo, très bien, but help your buddy. If your buddy and you both have done it, move on to the next assignment and see if you can help each other with that. So the first thing again was to read over the syllabus that we went over last class and make sure that you electronically sign the auto portrait. So in this little picture down here, it's way at the top. Make sure you put your name in there. Okay, that's important. Next, the directions for the auto portrait, you watch the video demo. You don't have to, but it'll guide you. And I spend time doing them for a reason, so it'll help offset a lot of your questions. Yes, it's about 4 minutes long, but you can fast forward me all you like. Your job was to fill in the blanks with your information based on my model. I'm not going to type it in for you, but I wanted to see if you could figure out what goes in the blank. After this video, okay, and you've watched it, here's the actual assignment. So when it says Google assignment, that means, excuse me 1 second, I'm going to grab a piece of paper. The actual piece of paper that you got in your packet, all right, when you picked up your virtual materials, this piece of paper, I retyped it in Google, and now everybody gets a copy. And how do I know everybody gets a copy? Because soon when you start submitting it down here, I'm starting to see everybody turning it in, and you're getting your full points or not for turning it in. And that's where I want it to come. So how do you do that? That's what I want you to talk out. Well, you click on File, and then when you click here, you'll get your own copy. It'll look like this. Make sure you sign at the top that you got your auto portrait or your syllabus and you read through it. And then you start typing your information. If you don't know what goes in the blank, I don't want you to spend hours and hours translating. I want you just to try to see what you can do and what you remember. But use your partner here in a minute to do that. Now, what I found is once you've typed everything, you need to leave. See, you're in a separate tab at the top of my screen. You need to go back to the Canvas tab. And when you go back to Canvas, there'll be a thing here that says Open Assignment. And you need to click there. And then in the bottom right corner, it'll have a blue, I think it's blue, Submit button to submit. That's by typing right on. So that's what you need to do. You need to type right on there. So far, so good? Any questions in the chat?
Yeah, people are asking, apparently there are 2 This is Language assignments, and they're wondering if you want us to do both.
Possibly, yes. Hold that thought to the end because one of them got deleted and then I put in a different one. So when you go into This is Language, it most likely, let me double check my notes, it most likely will have just the one for next week. It should have, yes. I've only set one for next week and it's a video. It's a video on a person introducing themselves to you. And I believe it was also a comprehension check. So whatever's the one with the red hat, that's the one to do. And I'll walk you through that here in just a sec. Any questions on the Google assignment though? So what I want you to do too is when you're in your groups and you say, okay, I understood what to do, I got this and no problem. Maybe exchange some information. See if you guys have anything in common if you don't know each other. Maybe learn one thing new about somebody in your new breakout room world. So that's the auto portrait. Now let me go back to modules, to the second assignment you're supposed to do or get started on. So on Monday, when I send out the video, all these homeworks and classworks will be right under the video and you can get started right away. And I recommend that because Zoom class is going to be used to review things you should have been starting and possibly assess you, quiz you. So you'll be pronouncing the promesse right off the bat on that first Zoom. So if you haven't looked at my On y va video on Monday to practice the pronunciation of it, you're going to be behind. Okay, so keep that in mind. Always look at it. Definitely look at it. You guys are Wednesday, Friday, so you can do it Monday, you can do it Tuesday. But the one assignment in the video is to write the enquête and translate it. That's due by Tuesday by midnight. That way I can ensure myself and ensure you look at it and get something turned in so that gets you on the right track and you don't fall behind. That's my biggest concern. The second assignment for this week, let's go back, is bonne manière. That means good manners. Here I had another video, but this time the video goes through just the pronunciation and I wanted you to try to translate as many of these as you know. I didn't want you to have to use a translator. I wanted you to see what did you remember from last year. Last year, for those in my class, that was behind me on the board over here, all these manners from years past. So just start kind of typing, excuse me 1 second, what you remember. It was a piece of paper that you got in your virtual packet. It looked something like this, and it had 2 sides to it. It had a lot of information that I honestly did not want to take the time to actually type out. So what did I do? I scanned it in and gave you a PDF. So with the PDF, which is the worksheet scanned in, What I wanted you to try to do was a couple things. You choose which works for you. You could print it out and write on it, take a picture like some of you guys did, front and back, and then you turn it in on the Canvas assignment. Or you could come here and open with Cami. When you open with Cami, Cami lets you write actually on the PDF like I did here. You can click out of that. But first, when you try to write, it won't let you, and it'll say make a copy. You have to make a copy so that you have your own copy. And that sends it to me and doesn't write on my copy, so to speak. And all you do is click on the text box, and what I recommend you do is put a different color. So I put it in green for the last class. You can put it in whatever color you want. So black would be my color, and your color would be hopefully red. Since it's French too, you could do red, okay? Just like your binder would be red. How do you get it back to me? That's the biggest question when you do this, world. You come up here to this little sideways V with little dots. You click on it, share the document. Make sure you make it my domain, Greene County Schools, and make it editor if you can, editor, if it'll let you. Then you're just gonna copy, and then you take that link, you go back to your world of Canvas at the top, and on your screen it's different. So you guys will have to tell each other in your breakout rooms in a minute where these buttons are, because my world's different. You're gonna have a place where you're gonna actually, you see here at the bottom, where you're gonna paste that link, paste the URL, and it'll paste what you did in Cami. If you took a picture, remember you take a picture of this, you've got to email it to yourself, and you got to download it on your actual computer, and then you got to upload it. And that's where I've enabled you to do that. So you got to click on File, Upload. If you go out into the world and make your own Google Doc, that's fine. Make sure the fonts make sense. A lot of you guys opened it in Google, because you can do that too. You can open this PDF. I do it like this. You can open at the top. Let me move this out of the way. Open with Google Docs. But when you open with Google Docs, you're going to notice the font's all messed up. So you're going to have to go back, and you might have to like change up the font. See how it's all messy? So it gets a little tricky. So you might want to open your own, if you will, your own Google Doc, and you can write it and type it there. A lot of you guys did a table. You inserted a table in Google, and you had, like you do vocabulary, French on one side and English on the other. And every place you didn't know the translation, you left a blank. That was beautiful. That's perfect. If you know how to do that, that's great. So that's why I've enabled you to submit things a couple different ways. If all else fails, a text entry box. You could just go to the bottom of the screen and just type and just number everything. Excusez-moi is number 1. That means excuse me. Number 2, pardonnez-moi. That means pardon me. And you can just type it right on here. As long as it comes back to me in Canvas, that's what I'm looking for. So don't need to email it to me. It needs to go through Canvas. So I want you guys to talk that out in your groups. All right, when we break off here, and then I'm going to break into your rooms to make sure everybody understands what's expected of them in these 2 assignments. If you're done with both of these, go back to modules, go down to the homework after today's class, which is watch This is Language how-to video. How do you get to that? You're going to go back to modules again, and you're going to go into the Bienvenue module at the very top, like I showed you earlier. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. If you have somebody that knows what they're doing, then you can go right into This is Language. You can click it here. You can click it here on the navigation. I've actually already opened it up. So when you click it, you're going to get to a world that looks like this. When you register or you log in, the login will be your email. All right. So first name dot last name at Greene with an E County Schools with an S.com. Your password is William Monroe, lowercase, one word. You should be able to access this page. This is your own personal homepage. This is your avatar. This is your person. You get to edit. You can click in here, or you can click under my profile, and you can edit right in here. This keeps track of all your points and all your tasks, and I can look at it at any time, and I can see exactly how long you've been on, and so on and so forth. When you want to get out of that, you just click on thisislanguage.com to go back to your homepage. How do you know if you have a task? You know by this red graduation cap. That means I've set a task in motion for you. When you're ready, you click on Go to Task. If you look underneath, it says due Friday, the 18th of September. So in your email, I've set one task to practice. I've deleted that. This should be the one task that's due on Friday, the 18th, to answer your question in the chat. All of these others that you see here, they have the I and they say watch. This is what other kids in the world are watching at this time at your level. I've set you guys up as French 2 students that are mainly sophomores. French 1, I mainly did freshmen, and French 3 are juniors. I had to set an actual like class grade for you. So if you want to experiment and read some things or watch some other things, this is your homepage. I just set one task this week to be graded. So you go to the task, you follow the directions, and you earn the grade that you want. Now, when you get to something after you watch this video and you do and you answer, if you don't like what the grade is that ends up, you can come back after you submit your answers and do it again. It'll say something about redo it or something. I can't remember the exact words. You guys know better than me. I apologize. And you can redo it, resubmit, or I can do better. That's what it says. I can do better. So you can earn the grade really that you want for this task, and that counts as a quiz grade. So please make sure that you do this as many times as you want to get the grade that you want. Again, when you're done, it is timed. So if you step away to go to the bathroom and come back, it might shut down on you. Make sure you have the time to dedicate to it. You can exit and you can go back here to This is Language. Where do I get these exercises? They're all in here. So have some fun. Click on these things. See the videos that I'm choosing from. Watch some other ones. If you want to watch about Harry Potter in French, this is your world. This is your online, if you will, textbook. We're going to have our old school textbook, and now we have our new school. Okay? All right. So at that moment, I'm going to log out here to get out. That's how you do This is Language. And now I want to give you guys some time to work together on your modules. I'm going to go back to my little introduction here. All right. So you guys can see that. I want you to go into your modules and go over any questions you have with each other. Make sure that you guys understand what is expected of you and help each other. Any general questions in the chat, Ryder? Nope. Okay, I'm going to break you guys out while the announcements are on and let you have the last couple minutes together, and then I'll bring us back a little time after. Okay, here we go.
DE students, please know that drop add for all DE classes is Tuesday. Any student needing to add or drop
There's going to be 3 people in each room. Okay, here we go. Au revoir. On y va.
Students, picture day will be next week. For today's students will be Thursday, September the 17th. You will take pictures to your
Miss Friedman?
classes. That have been emailed before.
So I turned it in before we had this class, the Bon Manière, and I put all the translations I made in black. I didn't know that.
Yes, that's fine.
It's fine.
You can leave it, honey. You can leave it, or, sorry, it's loud. You can practice, go in, change it, like, you know, highlight it and change it for me, and resubmit it and see what happens. I totally saw that you did that, and that was awesome. It was totally fine. But it's not a written in stone. You have to have it black, my language, and red is yours. You don't have to do that. Okay?
Right,
did you hear that, or is it too muffled?
No,
okay?
I heard you.
Okay. All right. Merci, monsieur. All right. Let's see. Do you know how to go to your room? There you go. Okay. So these are the announcements going on behind me right now. My apologies, but
and that is all
there we go.
Afternoon's announcements. B-Day students, we will see you again next Thursday, September the 17th. Please make sure you are logging on and taking care of work while you're at home next week. Thank you very much. Please remain your classroom until dark.
Okay, so right now I'm going to continue recording, even though normally I would pause now because I would go into different rooms and talk. But because I want those who are not with us to be able to see what happens, when they break off into rooms, everybody's in a group of 3. I have 18 kids present today. So they went into groups of 3 in their rooms, and they hopefully are talking together. That's the goal. Ideally, they will be helping each other troubleshoot things. Because I can talk till the cows come home and I can type till the cows come home, but sometimes you guys need to talk to each other to really figure out what in the world you're supposed to do. So that's what this week and next week's all about. We troubleshoot and figure out how to make this world be as simple and easy for us to understand, and also get us to the point that we want to be at by the end of the quarter with the French that I hope that we can learn as we go. So nonetheless, what I'm going to do now is if I divided the 18 kids into 6 rooms with 3 people in each room, the computer automatically does that for me. And we have about 6 minutes left in the actual class, but I probably will spill over because it's a big class and it'll take me some time to go through and check in with everybody. So our class might run a little extra just to keep up. So just keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break into room number 1 and make sure they're doing okay and see if they have any questions. And then I'll go to room number 2 and so on and so forth until I close down all the rooms and bring everybody back. Here we go. Hey, bonjour. Dun, dun, dun. All done. I'm kind of like Tinkerbell. I just pop in and I'm going to pop out. So questions first. D'abord, on se présenter. Did you guys introduce yourselves to each other? Kinda? Okay. So did everybody say bonjour, je m'appelle, and your name? Did you try it? And enchanté. Always try that just to get to know each other if you can. Any questions with the assignments? I know, Amber, you turned in some things. Paige, I don't remember, and Alana, I don't remember. Do you all have any more questions for me since it's just the 4 of us right now?
I do. For the manners thing,
Yes, ma'am.
is it all of those, or like, is it every single? There's like 50 of them. Is it all of those?
There are a lot. I want you to go through as many as you can. Just remember, honey, that this is the same weight. Let me grab it. As this. That might have seemed easy, right? And this might not seem like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff. They're both worth 5 points because in Power School, you'll have 100. And if you submit this, you keep your 100. If you submit this, you keep your 100. If you only submit this and forget this, it goes down 5 points, 95 and a 90 each time. So it's an effort. It's always based on effort. So to answer your question, yes, I want you to go through the front page, maybe with your friends, maybe with your brother, and just see how many you know. You don't have to translate them with the translators. You just translate them from your mind. What do you remember? Do you remember what excusez-moi means? So what I want you to do first, maybe later, is just go through and listen to my video and then go, that sounds familiar, and write it down. If that's faster for you, just write it down. You don't have to do Cami and type it. You don't have to make a Google Doc. If you don't want to, just take a picture. All right. And on the back, go through as many of the bottom ones, I say that in the video, as possible. And if you want, see how many of these you know from what Mr. Ferrara said in French last year. And just jot them down. I'm just curious to know how much you remember. As we go through, we're going to pick up more. And then this becomes kind of your little dictionary. When I say répétez, s'il vous plaît, you go, oh, I know that. That means repeat, please. And it's right here to help you. So that's what I want you to do. Just do the best you can, as many as you know. Do not take hours. Do not cry. Do not worry. Do the best you can, because that's happened to my daughter already. She's already cried. And so I don't want that to happen. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. You guys okay? Alana, ça va? Hey, bravo. J'adore le look, mademoiselle. All right. Merci. I'll let you guys keep working. And I'm going to shut down the breakout rooms in about 5 minutes. We're going to spill over a little bit. Alana, you're going to have to go, so you're in school. But everybody else, I'm going to bring you guys back in a few minutes, okay? Okay. Hey, bonjour tout le monde.
Hey, bonjour.
Yeah, question.
Oh, I was just saying, I think everybody else left. We kind of just, we talked, nobody really had any problems. So is there anything else we should do?
So everybody's good. Okay, so class doesn't officially end until I bring you back out. So if you don't mind just hanging for me, even though some of the others might have to leave. Were any of them in school?
I don't think so.
Okay, a couple kids are in school, so when the bell rings in 2 minutes, they gotta go. So even though I'm spilling over, because it takes some time to get everybody started, that might happen in the beginning. So you take your time to keep playing Nutty Tiles. Do you have any problems getting into This Is Language, or are you okay? Ça va?
No, I did have one question though.
Yes, sir.
Can I? Okay, so I can, hold on, let me just open it real quick. There was 2 things with red hats, and it looked like there was another assignment that was there. So I just wanted to.
Did it disappear?
It hasn't disappeared yet.
Okay, does it say due September 18th?
Yes.
Right underneath the go to task? Then that one will be due. I'm pretty sure I just did one. I should have deleted the other.
So there's
Once
the representar and the regular present tense ER verbs, and I already did both of them, but I don't know.
Perfect. The regular ER verbs is going to be coming out next week. So if it was a hiccup on my end, you're ahead. Okay?
Okay.
Because we're going to do 3 tasks the following week, ER, IR, and RE verbs. So if it already went through and you did it, then you should be ahead. You should be fine. If there's any hiccups, just let me know. If you have it in front of you, the ER verbs, you can always take a picture of it just to keep it with the score, just in case. That's fine too. But we'll see if we can troubleshoot that later. So my apologies if it came out twice. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, I'm going to leave and go into 2 more rooms. I'm going to shut the rooms down. You'll see a countdown, and we'll come back together to wrap up, okay?
Okay.
Okay, merci. Okay, so now I just texted everybody and told them to please stay in the room. So now I'm going to join another group and see how they're doing.
Don't remember what.
Hey, bonjour tout le monde. Bonjour.
Hi.
Excusez-moi, I'm like a fontaine, like a phantom that just magically appears. So I just want to check in on you guys. Please stay in the rooms until I shut them down. There's 6 rooms, so it's going to take a few extra minutes here, so bear with me, just like it took a few minutes to join and get everybody in. But if you're in school, those guys will have to leave, obviously, to go to their next class. So any questions that you guys might have for me? Bonjour Kennedy, hey Marissa, hey Miriam, j'adore ça.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, so the auto portrait, everybody understood how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Bonne manière, you didn't have to freak out and stress and do every translation. I was curious to see how many you did. And then this is language. Marissa, you were able to get in there and do that?
I still need to get in.
Okay, if you have any trouble, I know your sister knows how to do it and she should be able to help you. If you guys email me if you have any problems, okay?
Right.
Well, I'll let you guys keep working. We'll break off here in just a moment, but wait till I give you the signal. You'll see a countdown to return to the main screen and we'll shut down class here in a few moments, okay? All right, merci. Au revoir. I don't know how I keep muting everybody, but I'm learning. Okay, let's go to the last couple rooms here. Let's see here. I'm going to move him to room 3. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to do these guys. All right. Hey, bonjour, tout le monde. Bonjour. Bonjour, bonjour. Ça va?
Bonjour.
Bonjour. So you've had a lot of time. I know we're running a little over. I just want to check in on everyone's rooms. Please don't leave the room until class is over and you'll see a countdown where I'll pull you back. We have the bells going off behind me because I know it's time, but it's like the extra 5 minutes. So I just want to check in with everybody on a small level. How are you guys doing? Jocelyn, Akil, Brittany?
Good.
Questions?
Yeah, I'm already done with everything, so.
Yay! Oh, good. Well, that should make you feel good. That's one less thing. My goal is not to give you a ton of homework over the weekend, but what I would like you to do if you're done early is go into This is Language, play around on your home page, and see if you can figure out how to play the game Nutty Tiles. It's under Global Games at the top, and it's not a custom game, but you can play a custom game. You can go to Nutty Tiles and see if you can have a little fun, and you're kind of pitted against each other all over the world, different people, or maybe in your class, and it just tests your, one, typing ability really fast, and translation, as well as spelling of French words. And you earn points for doing that, and they have leaderboards, which is kind of fun. So we're competing against Albemarle High School in Western, but we're also competing over the mountain. We're also competing against colleges like Lynchburg. So it's kind of a fun interactive website that you can do anytime you want. The only thing you have to do is the assigned task. So there may have been 2 that came out. If you already did both of them, then you are already ahead for next Friday. If it says due next Friday, September 18th, that is the one that's due. So that is great. Jocelyn, how are you doing?
Bien.
Yeah, très bien. Tu vas bien? And you're signed up to maybe go to France and England with me?
Yes.
Is that right?
Oui.
Oh, I'm hoping. I'm so glad to see you again. I hadn't seen you. And I'm hoping to make a big announcement that yes, we're still going, or when the dates are, because right now we're supposed to leave 2 days before school ends. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I would love to see if there's others that like to join us. I just have to wait for the world to decide whether or not we can go. So thank you for your patience and for your support. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better on that. All right. Brittany, tu es là, Brittany. Did Brittany ever show up?
Yeah.
You did. Is she there? Oh, she's there. Yay, Brittany. Okay. So have you all met before?
No.
No.
No. All right. Did you guys try to get to know each other? I know you don't have your camera on, Miss Brittany. Can you put your camera on so we can see you?
Well,
Please,
my thing glitches every time I turn it on. So it's.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, try it one time. Let's see what happens. Let's just give it a trial run.
No.
See if it'll work. And then I'm going to most likely break down the room here. And we'll go. Not working. Don't worry. We'll just from time to time. But when we do there we go. Let me see your face, though. I see the lights. Lights, camera, and action. You have her face. Okay. When we do the promesse. Oh, I see somebody. All right. When we do the promesse, though, Brittany, I'm going to need to see your face so I can see your mouth. Okay? That's the only way I can do it. And then I can there she is. Merci. Whoever's helping assist her to the screen. Merci. All right. Well, I got to go. I'm going to shut down the class here in about 2 minutes. Okay? So bear with me. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for all your efforts, ladies and gentlemen. Au revoir. Oh, bonjour, mademoiselle. You're back with me? Good stuff. And Ryder, you're there too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me just 1 more minute, and then I'm going to shut it down for everybody. Stay in your rooms until I shut down the room, okay? You don't have to return to the main screen. I don't know. Can you all go back to your room? I'm not sure.
I don't think we can go back unless you send us back. We assumed everyone was leaving because our other person is gone.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're not done yet. That's the problem, because it's going to take a while to shut everybody down and go into each room. So let me go ahead and I'm going to end it for everybody. And oh, no, not that. There we go. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to the breakout rooms. I'm going to close all the rooms. And now you're going to get a countdown on your screen. And that'll bring everybody back. There we go. Awesome. Okay. All right. So now, bonjour. Everybody's back. We're spilling over in our time, as you know. Voilà. Ça c'est un petit peu plus long. First, I want to thank you guys for those I got to break into. We were able to troubleshoot some questions and go over things individually. For you guys that I did not get a chance to break into, being a big class like this, it is going to take a little time. So please tell your friends not to leave the room. Okay, it's kind of like being in the classroom and getting out and just walking out. Okay, please stay. That's part of trying to learn how to do this. Okay, so I think there was one room I didn't visit in particular, so I apologize. I just didn't get to you guys. So let me ask this before we completely finish. Avez-vous d'autres questions? Does anybody have any other questions? Right, or anything in the chat that we need to know? And yes, Alana looks very cool in her cool glasses. Yes.
Yeah, I don't see any.
Okay. Does everybody understand then what's expected of them with the 3 assignments? The autoportrait, Google, bonne manière, and this is language. Okay. For those that want to get ahead, you can go in your packet right now that I gave you and go to the promesse and start practicing how to say it, because you're going to pronounce it on our first Zoom, and it'll be 5 points extra to memorize. I think I put in the notes, I think. Nonetheless, the second Zoom, we're going to have a dictée. So what's going to happen is we are going to go into breakout rooms so you can pronounce and practice and work on your this is language. And so that way, if you have extra time, you don't leave the room, you just play nutty tiles, okay? Or you work on other work until I get to you and you pronounce it. And we'll do it in groups, okay, bigger groups. There might be 3 rooms of 6, all right? So that might give you some time. I have to figure out too how to time it as well. So I thank you all for your time today. If you have no other questions, then I'll shut down the meeting for everybody. But please, please, please bear with me in the beginning as we troubleshoot everybody together, okay? So, bon week-end tout le monde. Au revoir. Et merci beaucoup pour votre attention et bienvenue à la rentrée virtuelle. Oui? Au revoir, merci.